OJ, I'm still pregnant as a man, carrying a baby. I do not know whom it belongs to. For which, in this continuing part, I'll share with you the details of what happened. We drove past her mother's house on a Saturday morning. Akosia was excited in the car. She kept talking, she kept laughing, kept reaching over to touch my arms as if she wanted to confirm that I was real, that this was real. I was calm. I had met mothers before. I had smiled and shaken hands and said the right things and left with the daughter and felt nothing. I was prepared for another performance. I was not prepared for what was waiting at that door. When the door opened, OJ, when the woman standing on the other side of the door looked at me, time stopped. My heart did not beat. My lungs forgot their work. I knew that face. I'd been trying to forget that face for over 20 years. It was Mame, the woman I had left pregnant in Accra when I was 23 years old and too cowardly to stay. The woman I had erased from my life so completely that I had almost convinced myself she was never real. She was older now, obviously. Life had written things on her face that had not been there when I knew her. But the eyes were still the same. The same eyes that had once looked at me with love were now looking at me with something I cannot name. Akosia, standing beside me, noticed the silence. She looked from her mother to me and back to her mother. She said, "Ma, this is him. This is the man I told you about." And her mother, Mame, just kept looking at me. I did not speak, OJ. My mouth was open, but the words had decided not to come out. Akosia was still talking, still explaining, still full of the joy of this introduction, not yet understanding that the room had already changed its temperature. Then Akosia said something that broke what was left of me. She said, "Babe, you said my mother's name just now. Did I mention it to you? Did I tell you her name before?" I had said her name without realizing. The name had come out of me like a reflex. Mami finally spoke. She said, "Where have you been?" Just that. Not in anger, not in tears. Just that question. Flat and enormous. The way a question sounds when it has been waiting over 20 years to be asked. We went inside. Akosia was quiet now. She had begun to feel the shape of something she did not yet understand. She sat down in the small living room and Mami looked at me and began to speak. She told Akosia that she knew me. She told her how she knew me. She told her about the lorry station, about the months we spent together, about the morning she told me she was pregnant, and about the night I disappeared. Akosia was listening. I watched her face move from confusion, then to discomfort, then something worse. The beginning of a realization that her mind was refusing to complete. She looked at her mother. She looked at me. She looked at her mother again. That was when Mami said it. She said it quietly. She said, "Akosia, this man is your father." And the room, OJ, the room did something I cannot explain. The air in it became different. Everything in it became different. Kind of everything. Akosia stood up. She sat down. Stood up again. She was making sounds that were not words. She was pointing at me and looking at her mother. And I could see the moment that the full meaning of what she was hearing landed inside her body. My phone rang, a private number. I did not know why I answered it. Maybe because answering it was easier than sitting in that room for 1 second. The voice on the other side said, "Your time is finished. You have 1 month. That was all, OJ. The call ended. I sat there holding my phone in a house where the woman I had been sleeping with had just been told I was her father, and a voice from a private number had just told me I was going to die. I told them I needed air. I walked outside. I got into my car and I drove off. I did not go back. I drove until the neighborhood was gone, and then I kept driving because that is the only thing I've ever known how to do. Run. I went back to my house in Accra and I closed the doors and I sat in the dark and I waited to feel something I could understand. Instead, within days, my body had begun to do things I had no language for. In the morning, I would wake up sick. Not the sickness of a man with a fever, a different sickness. A sickness with a specific target, a specific rhythm. I was vomiting the way I watched women vomit when they were newly pregnant. The smell of certain foods would send me running to the toilet. My body was changing in ways I could see but could not explain. My stomach, my chest, the way I slept, the way I woke. Everything was wrong in a direction I did not have words to explain. I dreamed, OJ. I dreamt every night. And in the dreams, a voice spoke to me with the patience of something that had no agency because it has already won. It told me what was inside me. It told me what I was carrying. The snake, OJ. The snake that I had been sending into those women. That is not what I understand when they gave me the ritual. I thought the women died from the pregnancy, from something natural the ritual triggered. I did not understand the full mechanism. When I slept with a woman, what I was delivering was not just a child, it was a snake, going inside her womb, wearing the shape of a pregnancy, showing as positive in every test. But it was a snake feeding on her from the inside. It would grow until it was large enough, and then it would consume her, and I will be richer, and the shrine in that Nigerian forest will receive what it was owed, and I would move on to the next woman. That was the machinery I was part of. But because I had broken the one rule, because I had, without knowing, slept with my own blood, the pregnancy did not go to Akosia. The snake turned around and came back, and now it's inside of me. I am a man, OJ. I do not have a womb. I do not have organs for this. And yet, I am carrying this thing inside of me, and it is growing the same way it grew in those women. And I know what it does when it is large enough. I have been to 3 hospitals. The doctors look at me with faces I cannot read. They run tests. They find things they cannot explain. They use words that they do not fully cover what they are seeing. They do not say the words snake. They would not know what to say. I have been to pastors. I have been to prayer camps. I have sat in rooms with men of God who prayed over me with genuine hearts. And I felt their prayers land on whatever is inside me. And I felt whatever is inside me refuse to move. The money is still there. And the cruelest part, OJ, the money I built on those women's death is still in my account. It sits there doing nothing, because what do you spend the money on when you are a pregnant man waiting to be eaten from the inside? Akosia will not take my calls. I do not blame her. Mommy will not take my calls. I do not blame her either. I ran from that woman when I was 23, and I ran from her again at 50. And there is a pattern in that running that I am the only one beginning to see. Those women I killed The ones who died for my wealth, I do not know all their names. Some I knew, some I never asked. Some I left before the month was out, so I would not have to watch. I told myself distance made it less real. It did not. I think about Kofi and Mensa and Dini sometimes. I wonder if they are still in Accra. I wonder if they found their own ways out of poverty. Honest ways. The kind that do not come with price you cannot read in the fine prints. I wonder what I would have become if I had stayed. If I had stayed with Mommy when she told me she was pregnant and I had faced the fear like a man instead of a boy. If I had raised Akosia, if I had been her father in the way fathers are supposed to be. I wonder if poverty would have killed me slower than this is killing me now. And I think poverty would have been the kinder death. Poverty at least lets you keep your name. Poverty does not grow inside of you. It has been weeks since that call. I do not know how long I have left, OJ. The voice said 1 month, and I have been counting every morning when I wake up. And the sickness is still there, still present, and still patient. OJ, I am not telling you this confession so that you feel sorry for me. I have done things that are beyond sorry. I have killed women. I have run from my own child. I have fed a shrine with lives that did not belong to me to take. I am telling you this confession because it is the only thing I have left. The confession. The laying down of the things I have been carrying in secret for longer than I carried in my body. I just need someone to know the full truth before I go. And the truth is this. I broke myself before any shrine broke me. I broke myself the night I left Mommy alone with a child I did not stay to meet. I broke myself the morning I walked into the compound in Nigeria and chose comfort over conscience. Everything that came after, the money, the women, the rituals, the pregnancy growing inside of me right now, all of it was just the world finishing what it started. All of it, just the conclusion of a sentence I wrote when I was 23 years old and afraid. I am still afraid, OJ. That has not changed. The man inside all of that wealth and all of that power was always just a frightened boy from a one-shack room in Accra, selling groundnuts in the morning, hoping the day would be kind. The day was not kind, OJ. I made sure of that. And now, I am pregnant with a snake. This is your anonymous OJ, and if you are new here, I would like you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and hype this channel. And tell somebody about your anonymous OJ. I'll see you in our next conversion.